I first heard about change or discovered that change was a discipline 25 years ago when I was working at Anderson Consulting in Sydney. Before then, I thought that change was just something that happened that you had to sort of put up with, or you could vaguely steer in one direction or another. But with Anderson Consulting, I realized that it was actually a discipline, that you could lead it, that you could influence it, that you could embrace it, that you could build cultures that were based around embracing change. So it was 25 years ago, really. But what I learned at Anderson Consulting is that change has nothing to do with processes, nothing to do with systems. It's everything to do with people, so that's really what the book is about. It's not an evergreen topic. No, actually, it's both. It's an evergreen topic in the fact that change is inevitable, it's constant, it's continuous, it's always with us. But just what have we experienced in the last 3 years or so with COVID, with Ukraine, with the cost of living crisis, with inflation? There's so much going on in the world that change has never been more important. And change is accelerating. The way that our businesses are changing with artificial intelligence, with the Internet of Things, with so many changes in the way that we work and the way that we live, it's never been more important to be able to not just influence change, but more importantly, to embrace change and look for the opportunity, because it's always with us. In some sense, we're all leaders of change. It doesn't matter where we sit in an organization, we can all influence or lead change in some way. But as leaders of change, what makes a change successful? And 88% of changes are not successful. So what makes a change successful is firstly clarity. So when leaders are very clear about what needs to change, both the numbers, but also the narrative, but also why we need to change. Because we humans don't change just because we're told to. We change because we want to. So a leader's job is actually helping their people to want to change. So it's very important for leaders to be very clear on what needs to be achieved, to understand that emotions are 4 times more powerful than logic when it comes to change, and to engage their people emotionally in being able to help them, to follow them, to deliver the change that they want. So that's as leaders. As people, we need to understand that change is personal. And that no matter what, whether the change is being done to us or whether the change is that we're instigating the change, we need to engage with ourselves emotionally, and we need to find the confidence to be able to embrace change and look for the opportunities. And that's what this book is frankly all about. There's so much in the book. There's about why we need to change. It's how we change. It's how we react to change. But my favourite has got to be, for the sake of my marriage, the one that my wife helped me write, which is called "The Power of Yoga," which encompasses all of the preceding chapters into one chapter that uses yoga to help you to be able to distance yourself from what's going on. Accept reality, accept the change, embrace the change, and learn how to thrive from a position of strength. So yes, thanks to Jane, it would be the power of yoga. It's universal. It's actually a book that is aimed at everyone. It doesn't matter what age, it doesn't matter what gender, it doesn't matter if they're working or not, it doesn't matter if you're a school teacher or the CEO of a major organization. It really is for everyone. Where I've tend to think about when I was writing the book is employees of organizations. That's the lens through which I looked at it. So one of my clients has taken the English version of the book that doesn't have as good a name as the Hungarian version. They've taken the English version of the book and have put their logo on it and have put their own introduction into the book and given it to every single one of their employees to help them to be able to embrace change and thrive through change and after change. So when I wrote it, it was aimed at employees to help leaders to create a culture that embraces change. I am thrilled that this book is being published in Hungarian, and one of the greatest things about it is the title of the book that you've chosen for Hungarian is so much better than the English title. I mean, Champions of Change is what we should call the book. In England and in Australia and in the States, it's called The Power to Change. But I love Champions of Change because every single one of us have the power to be champions of change. So I'm going to go back to England and say we need to change the title of the English book. I love Champions to Change, it's fantastic.